What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video coming to you guys today with another reaction. Today we're checking out 10 worst WWE matches of 2019. 2019 was an interesting year, I would say, to say the least. One of the matches that comes on top of my mind as far as the worst was the Goldberg and Undertaker match that they had, I think, at that Saudi show, which was not good. It was just full of botches and could have ended their careers for sure easily. I think you could probably put the Kofi stuff on here as well, just because he did lose his championship in a very controversial fashion, to say the least. So we're gonna check out this video and we'll see what Cultaholic deems worst WWE matches of 2019. So let's get into it.
With another wrestling decade coming to a close, WWE pulled out all the stops to make sure that the 2010s went out with a bang, and in some cases, they actually succeeded. 2019 was the year that saw Becky Lynch solidify herself as one of wrestling's biggest stars, the year that NXT invaded the main roster and won Survivor Series, and the year that saw the women's tag belts reintroduced. We were actually quite hopeful at the time. However, it was also a year full of disappointments. The following 10 matches were ones that left a particularly bad taste in our mouths for one reason or another. Bad booking, botches, confusing match endings, beloved wrestlers nearly being killed in the ring. It's all here, folks. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 worst WWE matches of 2019. Join us. Number 10, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank.
It's crazy that the Money in the Bank ladder match is on here, because I won't say the Money in the Bank ladder match was the best, but it wasn't the worst. I think the thing is, the ending kind of ruined it, because you had Brock Lesnar, a lot of people, come in and just straight up win the match when he was literally not one of the participants even in the match. And it just ruined it. I think it ruined Money in the Bank for a lot of people, just because you can have all these people be entrants and participants in the match, but the way they saw it, people can literally just come in and just win the match.
Interest of fairness, let's talk about the positives here first. As far as Money in the Bank ladder matches go, this one held up its end of the bargain with some spectacular action and dangerous high spots. It also featured a great lineup, especially thanks to exciting participants like Finn Balor, Andrade, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali. And in some meaty boys like Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Randy Orton, and there's no way that this match could disappoint, right? Well, clearly somebody backstage thought there wasn't enough meat in this recipe, because they decided to chuck in Brock Lesnar. Lesnar made an unannounced appearance in the match, much to the surprise of Ali, who just sat on top of the ladder for approximately 20 years as Lesnar made his way down the ramp. Just grab the briefcase, mate, it's right there. Instead, Brock toppled the ladder and cost Ali the win. He then climbed the ladder himself, unhooked the briefcase, and won a match he wasn't even in. The ending totally undid.
And then what makes it even worse, I believe, going into that show, Mustafa Ali was supposed to be the one to win the match, but as soon as Brock Lesnar showed up and stuff like that, they decided to change it right then and there, and it really just sucked for no reason. It really made no sense. We know Brock Lesnar is just one of those type of talent, like, he can easily just go up and ask for a title opportunity and he'll get it. So what was the point of him being in the Money in the Bank ladder match? It made no sense whatsoever. The Money in the Bank is similar to how I feel like about the Royal Rumble. Use those stipulations to help elevate newer stars who haven't been given that opportunity to become a world champion in the WWE yet. That's what they should be doing, but yet they'll use people who've already been at the top of the mountain and stuff like that over and over. But that's for another video, for sure. But we're gonna continue.
Great action leading up to it, and rendered weeks of build completely pointless. It made every other participant look like a total chump, and put Brock right back at the top of the card at a time where fans were getting a little bit sick of seeing him there. Number 9.
Starting today, anyone can monetize with ads. As part of the all-new Beehive ad network.
Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, this is another one. On paper, it looks good, but the match wasn't good, and I think Rey Mysterio ended up winning. the U.S. title, and it just was a via a roll-up or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it just didn't work for me.
There must have been something in the air at Money in the Bank 2019 because it was also home to this strange encounter. Samoa Joe had squashed Rey Mysterio during their US title match at WrestleMania 35, beating the Lucha legend in under a minute. Their rematch at the next pay-per-view lasted exactly twice as long, but with the outcome reversed. Mysterio pinned Joe to win his first United States Championship, despite Joe's shoulder being about 10 feet off the mat when the 3 count occurred. The Samoan submission machine took this about as well as you would expect, absolutely beating the snot out of Rey after the bell. Rey relinquished the title back to Joe the very next night on Raw due to a shoulder injury, not even vacating the belt, just giving it straight back to the man he'd beaten. Although not the worst match of 2019 in terms of notoriety, its short length, messy finish, and inconsistent outcome definitely grant it a place on this list. Number 8, Charlotte Flair vs Lacey Evans on Raw. Work shoots are a big part of wrestling and have been part of some of the greatest moments in the history of the sport. The Outsiders invading WCW, CM Punk's pipe bomb, Charlotte Flair vs Lacey Evans on the June 3rd, 2019 episode of Raw. Wait a minute, what's that doing here? For whatever reason, Flair and Evans decided to make their match on a random episode of Raw look as real as possible. They spent a good few minutes grappling around with each other, trying to legitimately take each other down, but fumbling almost every single move they attempted. Eventually the match ended in DQ, but the damage had already been done. Fans were completely bemused by what they had just seen, with many trying to work out if the two had gotten into a real fight live on TV. Dave Meltzer wondered whether someone backstage had told them to do this, but added that it would be a stupid idea as neither woman had been trained in shoot fighting. Number 7, Lars Sullivan vs Lucha House Party at Super Showdown.
Oh, brother. This was around the time nobody cared about Lars Evans. I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to build this guy up to be a monster, and it really just wasn't working. I mean, he was pretty much going through enhancement talent, and pretty much, regardless of how you put it, they were seen as none other than that. They were seen as none other than enhancement talent. They didn't really do anything. Well, except for Kingston, he did have that U.S. Championship reign, but that was about it. So, and a tag team title reign in NXT, but that was about it. It didn't work. It didn't work, and it didn't help anybody in the grand scheme of things.
Quick spoiler here, this isn't the only mention of Super Showdown on this list, or WWE Saudi Arabia shows in general. One of the many flops on the night was a 3-on-1 handicap match pitting Lars Sullivan against Gran Metalik, Lince Dorado, and Kalisto. This was Sullivan's in-ring debut on the main roster, and he was at a serious disadvantage against 3 high flyers. He was valiant in his efforts to fight them off, but the numbers game was just too much for Lars, and the match was thrown out after the house party ganged up on him. Hey, at least the Freak won by DQ? Wait a second, I've got this all wrong, surely. Sullivan was the heel going up against a group of 3 babyfaces? Why on earth would WWE book a heel at a disadvantage? And why would they have the good guys cost themselves the match by all attacking the bad guy at once? Who on earth did this help? If you're thinking that none of this makes any sense, that is because it doesn't. It was totally backwards booking from WWE that damaged Lars' run as soon as it got started. We're not sure if it can totally be blamed for his career stalling, but it was certainly one of many reasons. Number 6, Baron Corbin vs Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35. A stipulation can
I hated this match, because we knew this was going to be the farewell of Kurt Angle. He was doing this little tour where he was pretty much having his last few matches, and this is the last match that they give him. A lot of people were making a lot of different, speculations on who his final opponent could be. People were going to Chad Gable because you can have the next guy up, who like a passing of the torch. You could have done an AJ Styles if you wanted to. I would have loved that. You could have done a Samoa Joe going back to the TNA days. You could have done something like that. You could have maybe done an Undertaker if you really wanted to, just to have a dream match or something like that if you wanted to, for nostalgia purposes. You could have done a John Cena just because that was John Cena's first match against Kurt Angle. But did we get any of that? Nope. We got Constable Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin ended up winning. That's crazy. He ended up winning that match.
make or break a match, and that was evident in this encounter from the Showcase of the Immortals. Had Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle just been a normal contest, it would have been perfectly fine, although maybe not spectacular considering the stacked card it was on. However, this ended up being one of the biggest letdowns of the year because it was Angle's retirement match. That's right, this was the final installment of a career that spanned nearly 20 years, included dozens of championships and countless memorable moments. In terms of in-ring ability, mic skills, and sheer versatility, Kurt Angle can legitimately be seen as one of the greatest all-rounders in wrestling history. And his career ended with a wet fart of a match. It's not exactly Kurt's fault, or Corbin's to be honest. Angle was extremely limited in the ring by this point in his career, his offense mostly just punches and German suplexes. But the booking behind this bout was its own worst enemy. What relevance did Corbin have to Angle's career in the first place? And you know what? The win didn't exactly benefit the Lone Wolf either. While there's obviously nothing wrong with a legend losing their last match, seeing one of the greatest of all time go out like this weighed heavy on the hearts of many wrestling fans that night. Number 5.
Hello everyone, I'm Jake. I've been working at Miso for many years. We've been currently in the fast food industry cooking in live restaurants now.
Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston on SmackDown. Thankfully, WrestleMania.
Oh boy, this right here, this dark day in WWE history for sure.
WrestleMania 35 wasn't all old men losing in sad matches, as it also saw the climax of the Kofi Mania storyline. After building a groundswell of fan support, Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship, his first world title in his 11-year career. Kingston would then embark on a pretty decent title run, but one which could never truly live up to the joy of his initial win. He held the gold for 180 days and retained against the likes of Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe. Then came the first episode of SmackDown on Fox. The show was mostly sold on a WWE Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Brock Lesnar. Fans were extremely worried that WWE would job Kingston out to put the belt back on Brock, but... oh, actually, that's exactly what happened. Sorry.
And
not only that, but Lesnar pinned...
This was terrible. You could have actually had a legit match, and if what you could have done, you could have... You could have had like a little bit, maybe like a 2-minute match or something like that if you wanted to, and then Brock won. And then you could have just, instead, and what made it worse is not the way he lost, it was bad, but the fact that he didn't even get a rematch for that title. He didn't even go back and get a rematch after losing that. But then to put the nail in the coffin, not only did he not get a rematch for it, he went right back down to the tag team division. Like, that just really just pissed a lot of people off. Like, if you've done something like that, like where somebody gets squashed, you should have the story where they go back and try to regain that title and they have a better match. Do like what you did with John Cena. John Cena, like, even though he's one of the greatest of all time, but he got obliterated by John Cena at SummerSlam 2014, and then you had that story going into the next pay-per-view. Will it be the same situation, or will he actually be able to put on a good match and possibly get his title back? That's a story that you could have done with Kofi going into the next pay-per-view, because we were so close to Hell in a Cell at that time. You could have done that, but they chose not to, and it just left everybody with a sour taste in their mouth for sure.
Kofi in just 8 seconds after a single F5. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see all of Kofi's hard work disappear so quickly, and it was even worse to see him drop back down the card, perhaps never to be seen on that same level again. This result showed how WWE really viewed Kofi, and although the feel-good moment at WrestleMania can never be taken away, it still feels a little more bittersweet in hindsight. Number 4, Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez at Crown Jewel. One of the big matches.
Starting to put 2 and 2 together. Brock Lesnar's been involved in a lot of bad matches in 2019. He's been in a lot of bad matches in 2019. It's crazy. Nobody cared about this match. Let's be honest. For your casuals, they didn't care. Maybe a few of your hardcore fans, maybe just because some may watch UFC, and this pretty much played out their UFC career. So I will say there was somewhat of a story, but not really. And the match just was terrible. Like, Cain Velasquez didn't really get any offense in, and he tapped. Okay. And he was never seen again. So it was a waste.
Matches that Crown Jewel 2019 was sold on was Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Championship against UFC legend Cain Velasquez. The two men had history together in the Octagon, as it was Velasquez who defeated Lesnar to end his UFC Heavyweight Championship reign in 2010. WWE were clearly trying to capitalize on this real-life rivalry, but they went about it in the worst way possible. Instead of competing in the main event like many fans thought they would, Lesnar and Velasquez actually opened the show. As if this wasn't confusing enough, Lesnar won the match via submission in just 88 seconds, making Velasquez look like a complete loser in the process. And to make matters even worse, this was Kane's one and only match in WWE, as he was let go from the company during the pandemic. So what was all of this for? WWE had a really intriguing storyline on their hands with Lesnar versus Velasquez, but they totally screwed it up. The match was a total letdown and irreparably damaged Kane's stock in WWE. But hey, at least it set up that great Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio match at Survivor Series, so, you know, every cloud.
That was a good match.
Man, bro, so let me tell you what had went down. When I was 2 bands away from getting bro a whole barbershop.
Number 3, Tyson Fury versus Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel. 3 years before he was...
What is up with... see, I've been saying this. A lot of their Saudi shows just weren't good. This was not it. Tyson Fury versus Braun Strowman, not really it for me either. I mean, you have all these big names just to come in just to make I mean, it was Vince running the thing still, so when it comes to him, he doesn't care what a lot of the fans want or want to see. It's all about the money. And if it's going to bring in the money, then he's going to do it.
Serenading Cardiff with a bit of American pie, boxing great Tyson Fury was stinking up a WWE ring in Saudi Arabia. After getting into an altercation with the monster among men on an episode of SmackDown, Fury demanded a match with Braun at Crown Jewel. Braun accepted, and after a huge pull-apart brawl, the fight was on. And hey, at least Fury's entrance was good, wasn't it? The big fireworks display and everything, the Isley brothers playing in the background. If only we could stop there, but now we have to talk about the actual match. Unfortunately, everything about this one was toilet-worthy. Fury struggled with taking even basic bumps, and the whole thing ended in anticlimax when the boxer knocked Braun out of the ring and took the count-out win. Braun then hit the power slam after the bell, which Tyson decided to shake off in record time. Has he no respect for this business? Strowman versus Fury was exactly what it appeared to be, a slapdash celebrity match designed to get mainstream attention and appease the Saudi regime. Still, considering their faces were on the poster, you would have thought they would have tried a bit harder. Hey, at least he didn't sing. Number 2, Seth Rollins versus The Fiend at Hell in a Cell. Bray Wyatt's Fiend character was one of the hottest properties in wrestling.
The worst Hell in a Cell match of all time. Easily. This match, on paper, was cool. It was cool. But at the same time, they booked themselves into a corner because neither of them can lose. You just debuted The Fiend as a big monster. Look at us, the way they booked him going into SummerSlam, having him beat Finn Balor for his first match. They were booking him strong. You had Seth Rollins, who just regained the Universal Championship a couple of weeks prior. So you book yourself into a corner. And then what made the Hell in a Cell match even worse, to the point where people didn't even want to see it anymore, is the match is supposed to be no DQ, but yet, soon as Seth brings in like a sledgehammer, I believe, the match gets called off. Are we serious? A match that's supposed to have no rules ends in a DQ. What is the point? What are you doing? In a Hell in a Cell match, you can do anything and everything. All you got to do is hit a 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins was hitting, I think, 10 curb stomps or something like that. And The Fiend was still coming back. They were booking that man like a monster. And it's like, okay, he's doing everything he can to put The Fiend down. Gets sledgehammer this. I still get pissed. I still get pissed off talking about it. But this is definitely on the list for sure.
when he
I would put
debuted
this
it in
as number one.
spectacular fashion at SummerSlam 2019. Fans had high hopes for the character, especially as he was booked strongly in the months after his debut, and then Hell in a Cell happened. The Fiend was booked to face Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship in the pay-per-view's signature match, and when all was said and done, it would go down as one of the most hated in the history of the stipulation. Red flags were there right from the start of the bout, quite literally actually. The cell was bathed in red light for the entire duration, which is never a good sign. Then, after Rollins had buried the Fiend under a pile of weapons, he went to use a sledgehammer. The referee wasn't happy about this, but hey, it's Hell in a Cell, right? Anything goes!
Exactly.
But then, after Rollins hit the pile with the sledgehammer, the ref called for the bell and ended the match. A Hell in a Cell match ending via referee stoppage. Right. Not only did this finish ruin the aura of the Fiend, who apparently needed medical treatment after the match, it also undermined the entire Hell in a Cell stipulation. Number 1, The Undertaker versus Goldberg at Super Showdown. As bad as Rollins versus The Fiend was, at least nobody nearly died during it. The same cannot be said for the main event of Super Showdown, a dream match between The Undertaker and Goldberg. Two men defined by their undefeated streaks were going head-to-head for the first time ever, in their 50s, in the blazing Saudi Arabian heat. Uh-oh. This match was a train wreck from start to finish. Both men visibly struggled, which led to a series of terrifying botches, including Goldberg nearly dropping Taker directly on his head. Undertaker has since admitted that the move almost broke his neck, whilst Goldberg says that he got a concussion during the match. We're not sure whether this happened when both men fell over after a failed tombstone, but it couldn't have helped either way. A bad match is one thing, but a match that ended up endangering the lives of two legends is pretty much unforgivable. Both men will struggle to erase this catastrophe from their resumes, which is a crying shame considering the incredible legacies that they have. And that's why...
Yeah, they had incredible legacies, and just like that, it was pretty much down the... Well, I wouldn't say down the drain, but it kind of just left a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths for sure. And current day as me recording this video, looks like Goldberg could be potentially coming back and potentially getting back in the swing of things again, and potentially being in the world title scene. Hopefully that's not the case, but we will see. But comment down below, let me know, what do you guys deem as worst match of 2019 for WWE? If it was on this list, let me know what it was and why. And if it wasn't on this list, let me know what you feel like was a match that should have been on there but wasn't. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Road to 350 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer to that milestone, but the ultimate goal is 10K. When I do hit 10K, I will do a giveaway with one of my lucky subscribers. Will have the opportunity to win a WWE Championship from WWE Shop. So if you want to be a part of that and be the potential subscriber that does win that, go subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free. You can always change your mind in the future. But why would you want to do that? I'm trying to give you guys daily wrestling content. The grind does not stop. Super kick that like button, helps my channel gets pushed across the platform. Superman punch that post notification bell. Whether it's a reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video, you could be in a loop of things when I do drop a video. And subscribe to my channel. It takes 3 seconds out of the day to do those 3 things for me. Helps on the progression of my channel. But with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, a great week, and also stay tuned because I will be streaming NXT tonight and AEW, since AEW is doing Title Tuesday, so they're not going to be doing Wednesday tonight this week. So I will be doing a double header tonight, so stay tuned. And also later today I will be doing some horror content with a good old buddy of mine, Hayden. We will be ranking and talking about Scream, the Scream characters, so stay tuned for that as well. But hope everybody has a great week and a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.